Hello, lovely people, and welcome to Girls Run These Worlds. My name is Anya, pronouns she, her, and I will be your guiding voice today for this finale episode of The Secret Life of the Tuffets. We are going to be playing Under the Floorboards by Chris Bissett from Loot the Room, where we are playing 2-inch tall floorboard folk living in the Bigs world and borrowing from them to survive. This is a fluffy game of exploration and found family, and I'm excited to see this final chapter of the Tuffets' lives here. So, before we get started, though, we do have a physical copy of the game to give away to someone in the chat for this finale episode. So, to enter the giveaway for the physical copy, type exclamation floorboards with an S into the chat. So then the other thing that we need to do is introduce ourselves. So I was trying to pop over to the Twitch thing to see who, like, the order of names, but that's fine. Let's start with Natalie.
Great. Hi, everybody. I'm Natalie. I use she, they pronouns, and I play Pen, who uses they, them pronouns, who we very much established loves to jump and fly and that kind of thing.
Absolutely. And I have it up now. Oh, perfect. You were the first one.
Ooh.
Yay.
You're good.
Yay. Let's go over to Tina now.
Hi folks, I'm Tina. I use she, her pronouns, and I'll be playing the trusty Dusty today, who is a wonderful trapsmith, and they have she, they pronouns.
Okay, and then on over to Lola.
Hi, I'm Lola, pronouns they, them, and I'll be playing Spinnaker, our builder. Also, they, them.
And finally, last but not least, Caden.
Hi, I'm Kaden, they, them. I will be playing the wonderful Brandy, who is transporter. Yeah, I almost forgot what I do. I don't.
How dare. No, you're fine. So, just to do a semi-brief recap, and also because Tina wasn't here, just to give the rundown. Last time on The Secret Life of the Tuffets, our intrepid floorboard folk explored under the living room and found what looked to be a rubble-filled home of some folk who used to live here. The Tuffets followed the path to find some various routes that had been taken by the people who used to live in this home, including a direct path out into the garden in the direction of the pond, which to our 2-inch tall folk looks more like a lake. They also found a hidden fake entrance into the living room up above by way of an outlet cover that does not work. I wonder why. And this is right next to the big, large boxes and rectangle that the biggies like to watch moving pictures on. So then Brandy, Spinnaker, and Pen met with the pond sides, some floorboard folk who live beyond the confines of a biggie's home, and realized that they were the ones who had left their home behind in the rubble some time ago, their young daughter Ivy in tow. Ivy realized that her father Blod had been missing for far too long, and with the handy assistance of the Tuffets, managed to fend off Nessie, the mean old goose who sometimes likes to chase floorboard folk. And so, now we're here, dozens of suns later, waking to a drizzly, cloud-covered day here under the floorboards. So my question for the wonderful Tuffets today, our establishing question, is a two-parter. In the time that you have spent here under the floorboards of your new home, what have you done to truly settle in here? It could be what you consider to be a final piece of the puzzle, so to speak, on your home, or something that makes your lives easier here. And secondly, what personal goal for your character is yet unfinished that you want to do or explore within the house? Whoever wants to start can.
So, Spinnaker, for the most part, has been finishing some finishing touches on the general structure and all the little rooms. So I think by this point, the rooms are fully sectioned off, and perhaps we've probably liberated a bit more of the furniture from the playhouse. So it actually looks like a little home, and there's not so much like Spinnaker themselves was not really in charge of the decoration of it. They've mostly kind of built some stuff and like set things up, maybe taken on some of the ideas that Florrie already implemented in the home that they were quite, and they've also spent a good amount of time with Florrie because they were they were assisting Florrie on the what's called elevator that they were working on. So like hopefully, well, they're very excited to give it a go, see how it works after all the work they've been putting in, and see if there's anything else they can add to it if need be.
Absolutely. Okay. Anyone else?
I think Dusty will have been working on color. So one thing that's really missing from their past home is that little bit of personalization to the space that they really appreciate. So they probably would have filled their time collecting little bits and pieces of, sweet wrappers, crisp bags, scraps of colored paper, things like that, and will have been very diligently making sort of patchwork wallpaper to finish off their space. And I think their real goal will be to expand on their wonderful friendship with Mousekind and making them just as comfortable near the Tuffets. So maybe trying to make some sort of like mousery beside them, like a little mouse ranch that they can expand into.
That sounds so cute. Oh my goodness.
Based off that, Brandy's been doing a lot of transporting of items for all the new decorations and finding things that she likes for decorations, and maybe also finding some little paint pots and brushes and just decorate like furniture and things like that, sort of getting inspired. And her dream is to somehow create an underground greenhouse attached, sort of, dig underneath and find
Well, that's
glass something for the top. And
interesting. I really like that. And I feel like that's something that you could do, maybe not quite perfectly, because of course a greenhouse is all glass, but
yeah,
you could definitely do some kind of like enclosed space that has the glass and the light going to the outside from the basement. Oh, that's fun. I love that. And for Pen?
Well, for Pen, everyone seems to have a good handle. Like Spinnaker has the solid foundations. Dusty is decorating and making everything personal on top of that. And Brandy helping with transporting things. So I think for Pen, they decided that we need to really mark off what our safe paths are and what ones are the easiest for us to go. So with all the various different colored threads we've all collected over time, they mark off like, oh, this red path leads to the cellar and this blue path leads to the living room. And they all have that different color code. And then eventually they add little bells at different points so that if a floorboard folk has to signal anything, they can ring on the thread and send that bell down the line. But there's still a thing they really want to do, especially since meeting Ivy and the pond sides, is try and find the fairy furniture and make a nice little outdoor area so they can come and visit, because I know Mrs. Pondside doesn't like coming inside. and I want them to be comfortable hanging out with us.
Very good. Okay, I'm just adding a couple of notes places. Oh, I need to remind myself about what Mrs. Ponside's name is. Yvonda. That's it. Yvonda and Blood. There we go. Okay, perfect. So, your home is looking genuinely like a home now. It's not like it's any kind of like replica of what the bigs have, because you have, for example, like the postage, like artwork, and the beautiful decorated walls that bigs could never replicate. And so you have spent a good long while working on this, and it genuinely feels like this is where you belong now. There have been some trials, for example, when the Bigs relatives have come, and the tiny Big has run rampant, along with their tiny dog, even smaller than the tiny Big, but still a very large creature to you, just scampering around places. There have been times where you've had to duck into the walls to get away from it. And you've slipped on more than one occasion, and a little bit of its drool that's landed on the hardwood floors. But you are now fairly comfortable here. So on this drizzly, just slightly overcast morning, what would you all like to do first? Just based off of the things that I had mentioned before we got onto the stream, of course. Anything specific?
I think that this day has possibly been, well, not in the calendar as such, but very much on the mind, because obviously Spinnaker's been working with Florrie on it. So I think Spinnaker is very excited to kind of get over to, so that they're up before everybody else, and kind of anxiously waiting until what's a decent time to wake everyone up, and then just after waiting for like possibly about 2 or 3 minutes, it's just gonna go and wake everybody up regardless.
Yeah, it's a little bit earlier than they should be woken up, but it's like it feels very much like the kids on Christmas morning kind of vibes. Like, no, we need to be up now. So, yes, absolutely. You wake everyone else up a little bit earlier than you should. What do you all do?
Right.
Yeah, Pen was very much just like full like starfish sprawled out on like, I don't imagine them having like a bed. It's now more of a hammock that's kind of been like posted up. So they're just now, after Spinnaker coming and like swinging, the ham's like, okay, Spinnaker, okay. I'm awake,
Yes.
I'm awake. And then I turn
today.
Spin out of the hammock onto the floor. Okay, I'm very much awake.
There's some food out on the table, and yeah, so eat quickly. I'm gonna get the rest.
Okay.
I like that Spinnaker picked Pen to wake up first, specifically.
I think Pen is probably, I don't know, would Pen be the person that takes the longest to wake up? Like, actively, or?
Possibly, as well as being one of the latter ones, especially with that scene. So, like, if you know he is prone to, or they're prone to just like jumping out of the hammock, or if they just roll out and slam onto the floor, people tend to hear that.
Where would I have found Brandy.
Brandy has her own little sleeping place in the corner, almost like a blanket fort sort of set up. Because, yeah, she likes just being in a cozy little space inside of the big space, inside of the bigger space. And it's sort of, yeah. And it's dark and quiet.
I think there's a lot of rapping on the kind of ground outside, and then when there's no movement, I might kind of stick my head in and be like, Brandy, wake up.
Why?
Because of the elevator. I've told you about it 1,000 times. We've finally done this thing, and we're going to go up to the top floors today.
This early?
It's not that early. There's some bitter water on the table.
It's still dark-ish.
Bitter water?
With sugar?
Warmed it up.
Right.
I think there's some of honey left. But you know, if we don't have honey, Florrie does.
All right, I'm up. Not happy, but I'm up.
We're gonna have the unhappiest family.
No one except for Spinnaker is a morning person so far.
And then where would I find you?
Dusty probably would have found like an empty matchbox or something similar and stuffed it with some of the stuffing from the pillows that we find to make like a little cozy bed.
Oh, that's fun. And you have your patchwork quilt that you've been making of all of the things.
Yep.
I think instead of coming to wake you up directly, I might have gone and found Eek and then kind of sent them over to go away.
Eek! What's today?
He's just sniffling at your head, and like you just feel this wet nose and the whiskers on your face.
I think when Dusty actually realizes that it's today, she would have exploded up as well. Like, it's today, it's today!
So, two excitable morning people, two not excited at all. Definitely not morning people. So, you all wake up to varying degrees. Is there anything that you do before you head over to the elevator that Spinnaker and Florrie have been working on?
Drink lots of bitter water.
Lots of bitter water. Just make sure to have all the usuals packed in case anything happens. But yeah,
Same.
Okay. So you head on over to where you know that Spinnaker and Florrie have been working on this elevator in between the walls of this old house. And you see that he is up early as well, and so is Stumble. The pair of them are just working on some last minute touches. You watch as Florrie pulls on a rope that is bringing some sort of heavy weight thing up to the upper level, and he very carefully gets it tied into place onto this platform that is large enough for most of you to fit onto, maybe all, depending on the weight balance. But he turns and sees you, Spinnaker, and everyone, but says, "Are you ready?"
I'm so excited. I'm really sorry we're late. They took forever to wake up.
Trust me, You're not late. This drizzly day, it's nothing. Don't worry about it at all. But I'm really excited to give this thing a whirl. I think that we figured out everything that was wrong with it from the previous tests.
Yes, yes. I, hmm. I'm curious to see how the weight distribution will work with all of us, but for the moment, I'm pretty happy with how far we've got, and I don't think there's anything else.
Yes, that was my one thought because if there's more of us on it, we need heavier weights. Maybe that's something that we could add in the future. We might need 2 trips, but if we could add a second weight system to uh and we can have some sort of lever that activates it or not, maybe we could make that work for a larger group.
Yes, though I find the more pulleys you run it through, the more weight you can lift with less weight on the other side. I find
Okay.
because it counterbalances with the extra friction.
Interesting. We'll have to give that a try. For now, that I think that we'll be okay with this, but if anything, we'll do 2 trips and it will be fine.
Yes.
Okay, so let's see. Who wants to go up first?
Dusty's like hopping at this point, like
He does laugh at that and says, "Well, of course, Dusty. Let me get on first, though." And he wheels into place and cinches himself. He has a belt that he loops around himself to attach his wheelchair securely to the platform, and says, "Okay, there's room. Oh, yes. I think that we should try it just with maybe 2 other people, and then we'll bring the rest of you up, if that's all right." So,
Yeah.
Spinnaker.
I really want to, but I think that I should analyze stuff from the ground first if you're going to go up. One of
Right.
us should stay down just to take a look at things.
I'll stay down here and catch anybody if they fall.
I highly doubt anyone's going to fall. We have done a lot of checks, but if you must.
Yeah. I'll stay down here. Yeah.
Yes, I'll go up because I'm good going up.
Try not to fly on this one.
Okay.
It would be a bad one to fly on. I'm going to say Flory said that because
Yeah, we haven't made my parachute yet.
Like thinking maybe that's what we forgot. We should put some like kind of barriers in.
So sorry, it's Dusty and Pen going up. Okay, so the 2 of you join Flory on the platform, and he just looks at the both of you and says, "Let's give it a whirl, shall we?"
Yeah.
So he pulls on the lever at its side that's made of a plastic handle that you all found in the playroom. And this releases the counterweight from the holder way high up above. And he just looks up and says, "Okay, it looks good so far. Okay." And he says, "Ready to head up?"
Yeah.
ready.
Let's go.
Okay. And he tugs on the rope system that has been worked on for many suns. And the platform begins to glide upward easily. And you can see that he's just a little bit excited and he gives this little, like, very excited noise. As you all, the 2 of you, watch as the interior wall goes rushing by, and the platform eventually drifts through a carved out section of the floor above, where Flory once again pulls on the lever and it settles, rocking a little bit into place. And he takes a deep breath and says, well, I do think that's going to change some things around here, don't you think?
You're a genius. Well, you and Spinnaker.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Speaking of, let's get this sent down to them now. If you could get off, and he
Yeah.
starts to unbuckle and wheels off, and he tugs on something that begins to make the platform descend back down. Spinnaker.
Mhm.
I would like for you to roll. Let's see, what makes the most sense here to you? I'm thinking either perceptive or resourceful in case there's something like thinking about mechanically, like if you want to change anything in what's been built so far.
I think it's probably going to be perceptive. It's a shame because resourceful is my highest. But...
Okay, roll resourceful for me.
Oh, that's a 6 on one day, a 5 on the other, plus a 4.
Ooh. Incredible. You definitely see some things that still need a little bit of work. It's not perfect, but it is functioning. It's not going to cause anyone to suddenly drop like it had a couple of suns ago. You were only doing tests like a couple of inches off the ground, but still, it was a little bit scary.
Yeah. Okay. So I think this whole time I've been kind of, instead of just watching it go up, I've kind of been looking at the pulleys and like looking down and like glancing and making notes and going, okay. So when it's stopped at the top, I'm kind of like, great. Yeah. And then as it comes down, I'm like, okay, it's gonna be our turn next. Stumble, you coming?
Yes. Yes, I'm coming. Yes, I can do this.
I'll hold your hand because, yeah, this is not.
It's very tall.
Yeah.
It's very tall, but it's perfectly safe. We've done a lot of testing. There are a couple of nickels, but perfectly safe. Perfectly safe. Perfectly safe. Nothing that will cause any problems. It could just be a little bit smoother on the test belt.
Right. Yes, that's very reassuring. And he looks at you, Brandy, like this is not reassuring at all.
Well, what's the worst that can happen, right?
We can fall off and die. Yes, I'm going to sit. And he just gets onto the platform and just sits and just holds on tight.
I'm with you. Yeah.
Okay. So
You're just hanging on to whatever.
It definitely needs railings. That's
Yeah.
something that you need to add on at some point. He probably uses that belt that Flory used to buckle himself in, just buckles himself onto the platform.
Yeah. Okay, well, Spinnaker is going to pull the lever and yeah. Up we go.
Yeah. You go up a little bit faster. But you all make your way up, partly because this section of the platform, this grouping, is a little bit lighter because you don't have the chair on it. But going up, like you get up to that section of the floor up above, and like one corner of it just kind of like knocks in, and you have to like hold on for a moment and you shake a little bit and then it kind of settles into place. And it's like if you think about platforms at piers, how they can knock against each other, that kind of thing. That's what it's doing here. But Stumble is just like, okay, we made it. Okay. Are we stopping moving?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Slowly unbuckles himself and is like shakily walking off of the platform.
The platform jiggles a little as we walk on it.
Yeah. And Flory is there waiting. How'd it go?
Spinnaker will kind of excitedly already be like, as soon as we've got to that level, we'll have kind of stepped, like hobbled over and stepped off, and is already talking to Flory about, oh yes, so when we were down there, I did notice a couple of things that we can change. We'll glance back, and maybe railings to those that aren't as excited about this as us, and just telling them all about the little things that they notice that we can fix. And it's like, and I guess possibly we could make this a bit smoother. But fantastic. Very like, how did you find it? What did you think?
I definitely agree about the railings, especially as another failsafe, just to make sure that we're okay. And he pats Stumble on the hand as he kind of just collapses onto the ground next to him. It's like, it's okay, dear. Don't worry. But for the most part, I think it's good. I think we've got it. And he looks around. We're on the second floor.
Yeah, that's a lot faster.
We're on the
That's the
second
good
floor.
thing. Yeah. Wow.
It's been a long time since I've been up here. I'm interested to see what changed.
Well,
Well,
it sounds like we should go and check.
sounds like a plan to me. Now, this early, the one problem with going up on the elevator this early is the pigs might still be asleep, so we should be careful and not go into the room right now. But the craft room, do you want to see it?
Yes.
He immediately, like, that thing where you haven't been to a place in a very long time, but you know exactly where you're going. He makes a beeline. Oops, sorry, I hit my microphone. He makes a beeline, just like zooming past various exits in this in-between space between the rooms, and screeches to a halt next to just a tiny little chewed out mouse hole. And he looks around, ducks his head in the hole, and says, it's almost exactly the same. Well, some things are different, but shall we? Just in case.
Yeah.
So you all head in, and you see there are a plethora of scraps and small objects lost and forgotten in this room. A large looming figure makes you jump back momentarily, but you realize that it isn't a biggie, but rather a stuffed version of one that has what appears to be a half-finished dress hanging from it. Almost like mine. You can see pins, much like your handy weapon, Brandy, sticking out of the blue flowing fabric that is cascading down from this space. And you see that there are any number of tables and bookcases, and I'm literally just looking around my room right now. There's a lamp that's been left on, and all manner of unfinished crafts all around, all different kinds too.
There is so much here that I need to bring back. How much weight can that platform hold?
It's entirely dependent on how many people are traveling with you, but I suppose we could always put it on and send it down first. But someone else will have to go down with it initially just to take it on.
Okay. And you can see that Dusty, like, they're doing the mental math of how much of this stuff that they can bring back.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and so I would say I would like for everyone, let's just have everyone do this. Roll perceptive for me as you're looking around the room here and assessing.
5.
Oh no.
I got
Just
16.
overwhelmed.
12.
And sorry, Tina, what was yours?
14. Roll 2 6s. Woohoo.
Very nice. So everyone except for Brandy rolled over a 12, correct? Okay. So for this, I'll start with the people who succeeded and then we'll get to Brandy. So, what are you all looking for? What kind of items do you want to find here in this craft room? Like, where would you go first? Under the desk, going into, like, there's some open shelving that's actually on the ground that you can access. There's like literally it's right behind me. Literally my office is this room.
Yeah, I'm with you too. Yeah.
There are a number of bags just sitting open on the floor as well.
I think Dusty will be looking for some fabric to add to the patchwork.
Mm-hmm.
And also, she's seen them before, but doesn't have any now. Did you ever see the tiny little pots of paint that come with, like, painted by numbers kits and things like that?
Mm-hmm.
Like, those kind of things that she can, like, dip into and take paint from.
Okay. So, Dusty, you go over to one of those open shelving spaces on the floor, and there are a couple of spots that have wicker baskets, which are great because they're really easy to climb. And so you clamber up and peek down inside one of them, and you see that there are like massive to you, like these little paint by number buckets that are actually like individually separated. Whoever did these, it wasn't just like they kept them in a long strip, they actually cut them so that they're individual. And you see that several of them are half filled still. Some of them are still completely full, including a rather ugly off yellow green color. Uh, and in this same basket, you also find a whole bunch of scraps. Some of them are a little bit too large for you to manage, but maybe Spinnaker with their all-purpose tool might be able to cut off some pieces for you.
Cool. Awesome.
I think that Spinnaker is on the lookout for some crafting wire.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It takes a little bit longer than for what Dusty was looking for. You actually managed to find interestingly behind this shelving unit, like it had fallen out of an open box or had been forgotten. You find some very thin, like a spool of very thin wire that is just like on the floor behind this open shelving unit, which has happened to me before.
Perfect. So Spinnaker would probably kind of like right it and then begin to roll it along with one hand and like using the stick on the other. But yeah.
Mm-hmm. And Pen?
Yeah, I think Pen initially thinks, okay, I need to replenish all the thread that we've been using up. But along the way, they also want to see if they can find like any like jewelry beads or little gem things You know, the kind of
Mhm.
stuff that you can make pretty things out of.
Mhm. Yeah, and based on like you're all communicating with each other, and so Spinnaker, you see where they find this spool of wire, and you know that Biggs like to use wire to make jewelry and things like that. So very likely that you'll find something for that as well nearby. And so you duck into a couple of the wicker baskets and eventually kind of flip over and find yourself in another one that is filled with, oh, I was about to grab one, but they're not actually on my desk right now, but filled with those tiny little plastic bins that have just all these random knickknacks and beads and things in them. You know from experience that it takes quite a bit of arm strength to open one of these things, but you can do it, especially if you have some teamwork involved.
All right. Yeah, we'll definitely have to call on Brandy.
Hmm. Which, speaking of, Brandy, what are you trying to do and find here?
Oh, I think I would be looking for like a bigger piece of cloth, but not so big, so that you can bundle things up in it,
Mm-hmm.
and then like tie the corners or something, so we could get it on the lifty thing and not
Mm-hmm.
have it fall to its death.
Fair. And so as you are looking around, you get a little bit more adventurous than everyone else to start. You just immediately head towards like the upper shelves just to be like, you know what, we don't know what's in here. And as always, I will throw it back to you. What is the complication that happens when you try to do this?
Well, as I'm playing with my kneadable eraser, Brandy accidentally steps into this thing and gets like stuck. And when she tries to unstick, then her hands will stick to it, and then tries to push it with her feet, and then her feet get stuck to it. Yeah.
Do you make any kind of noise?
Might say some rude under floorboards words. Nizzle frat. Yeah. 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 I found something I don't like, but we might use for something.
Okay.
Someone
I
wants
start
to
climbing up and peeking over my bucket edge. Oh. I think we all need to come over here, Spinnaker. Dusty. As I like start climbing over and leaping down.
Oh dear.
You might have to throw me a rope.
I could throw you a lump, but
Well, I guess Cynical will pull them up and go, huh, that's an interesting... Do you need some help?
I'm almost afraid if you all help me, we're all going to be stuck to it forever.
Well,
Oh, here, my trusty birdie hooky.
We could use
we
some
could.
fabric just to like bundle it up in so we don't touch it. Yeah, and then separate you from it.
All right, bird and fabric. Sounds like a plan.
Okay, I will hook Brandy. We can use that to help pull.
Dusty would volunteer some of the scraps that they were gathering earlier.
Okay. So I'm going to say, let's do it similar to how testing your luck works. I'm going to have each of you roll a d6, Pen and Dusty, and whoever has the highest resourceful stat will use that one.
Resourceful. I only have a 1.
Huh?
6 I rolled and 6 resourceful.
Oh,
Heck yeah.
I rolled a 2 and I have a 1. So
so 14 total in this case. So you do what you intended to do and you get an extra benefit or advantage. So as you manage to hook Brandy, luckily the birdie hook manages to not get destroyed. Since Pen loves to use it for everything.
yes, we've been reinforcing the birdie hooky.
Mhm. Making sure that
it's
just making sure that it truly stays together now. And Dusty, you are trying to just kind of like gather up the gummy stuff in cloth. Yeah, so you manage to. It's kind of like dough in cheesecloth kind of thing. It's really sticking to it. But you do manage to like gather it all up. Brandy, you still have some residual on your hands and feet, but at least you're freed of it.
Ooh, I can stick to the wall easier. Look at that.
This is true.
Yeah,
You
there
can
you go.
indeed.
Genius once again, Spinnaker. Look at this.
I tried. No, I don't. I wasn't entirely sure it was going to work, but I'm glad it did.
Yes. All right.
Amazing.
Boy, they have some amazing things in this place.
And you realize some really random things as well. Yeah, I saw that face and it's like, oh yes, these are literally all things that I have in this room.
Well, I showed
Almost.
you my desk, so
Oh yeah. It's almost like crafting ADHD, go figure.
Yeah, and it's not like I just bought some more crafting things the other day. Maybe, possibly.
And you continue to search around. Meanwhile, Flory and Stumble are also like exploring around the space. You see that Flory has very carefully cut away a little bit at the bottom of the dress on the giant stuffed dress form. Well, they won't notice a couple of inches, right? It'll be fine.
Just
You
a
wonder
slightly too
why your
short for him.
costumes never fit.
Now we know why.
It's floorboard folk. It's totally not mismeasuring. No, totally not.
it's not stress eating because you have a deadline and you can't.
No. It's not the pattern just being terrible. Anyway. So you manage to gather plenty of things, but there is plenty more here still. And as you all are gathering up your items that you have found, you begin to hear movement from the hallway. The heavy footprints, heavy footsteps of the Bigs. They are awake.
Quick, behind the wicker! Runs to the wicker rascal.
Yep.
Yep.
I think it's under the skirts of that dress.
That slightly shorter dress. He didn't get all of like all the way around the fabric because there's a lot there. If it's anything like mine, 5 meters. He only has a little bit of it, but still. Yeah, so you hide under the skirts of the dress that's being made. Pen, where do you go?
Well, I think I was going back into the basket to see about the bead collection, so I probably just ducked
Mm.
more in there, finding if there's like any little ribbons or stuff to pile up over me.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Not only are there the little container things of beads and charms and things like that, but there are also just there's a pile of loose beads, so it's kind of like a
A ball
um
pit.
yeah, it's like a ball pit, but not the one at TumblerCon.
Yeah.
I'm just making all of the references today. I don't know what's up. But in any case, Dusty, where are you hiding?
Definitely gonna dive behind the wicker basket where I found my pants.
Mm-hmm.
Just, hang on the back of the wicker like.
Mm-hmm. And Brandy, where are you going?
Just in the very back corner of a shelf,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm a doll.
I love that that's Brandy's go-to. Just like freeze.
Yep.
If they pick me up, they totally won't be able to tell that I'm alive.
Exactly.
Okay, so I would like, you know what? I would like for everyone to roll lucky on this. Oh no.
I rolled a 1, so I have a 4.
Oh no. So this is rolling
Oh.
both of your dice.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah,
forgot.
this isn't testing your luck. This is just
Yeah.
your luckies.
Well, I rolled a 7.
Okay.
Well,
10.
10.
9?
9. Okay. And Brandy, so you rolled a 3 on your second die.
yeah.
So that brings it to a 7.
Yeah.
So did anyone get 6 or lower? No. Okay. So 7 to 9. That was Brandy, Pen, and Spinnaker. Okay. So you do what you intended to do, but with a complication or cost. So please tell me, because you always come up with the funniest things to me. What is your complication or cost for each of you as you are trying to hide? Let's start with Spinnaker.
I think as Spinnaker has kind of gone to hide in the skirts, I think possibly just like sometimes when you're draping something and you need something to fall, you'll attach a little weight to it. I think that Spinnaker possibly too forcefully moved some aside, and one of those weights actually fell off and like rolled on the floor. So it was a little bit loud.
And you hear that thunk as it rolls off. Pen.
Yeah, so as I'm like diving into the beaded ball pit to try and like hide myself, I feel like because of that instant rush and because I had my birdie hook out, it kind of just got left to the wayside, out of sight, out of mind, because panic to hide. And I don't realize that as I am burying myself, the birdie hooky is also getting buried and disappearing within the beads.
Oh no! I genuinely love that you're constantly like, something bad happens to the birdie hooky.
Yep.
This is the most
pride and
important thing.
And yeah, gotta target it.
Yep, 100%. And Brandy, as you were freezing.
There's a fly.
Oh no!
Buzzing around and landing
and buzzing around.
Yeah.
Just like bzzz, all around you, and you're like trying to stay still. and watching it flutter around. And at one point, it comes up close, and you see the little,
Ugh.
and then it goes away again. But might make you sneeze, but doesn't bother you besides that. And then Dusty, with your 10 plus, you do what you intended to do. So you have successfully managed to hide holding on to this basket behind it. You're just waiting. And you all hear the door creak open. You don't see or hear Flory or Stumble anywhere, so you're hoping that they also manage to hide. But they're experts in this house, so they're used to hiding from these bigs in particular. And you hear a higher pitch, but still them being giants to you, very loud, booming voice. Just not hearing any of the particular words or anything, but just a very stressed sounding voice. And like there's movement going through. There are drawers being pulled open. You hear questioning tone, and deeper voice from the doorway. Just you can see anyone who's able to see the doorway, just this large, big, just shrugging their shoulders as they're talking. And eventually the woman, she just like smacks her forehead, and it's a very loud, like clapping sound to all of you as she reaches out and picks something up from the desk, shows it to the man in the doorway, and walks away, and is just kind of laughing at herself. And the door eventually closes behind her. So you wait a moment and another moment, because you never know, maybe they'll come back in. You seem safe.
Isn't it tight?
Maybe next time we'll wait until they're gone for the day before we come back up.
I start like pushing beads around. Oh dear. Birdie Hooky, where are you?
You lost your hook.
It's somewhere in here. It's kind of blending with all the colors.
Need a hand?
I think so. I was hoping for help anyway to get some beads, but I like pop my head out from over the wicker.
Oh, that's where you are.
Hi.
Toddle all over and help out.
Mm-hmm. So I would say go ahead and roll perceptive. So that would be Pen, as you're
Okay.
looking for the birdie hooky.
Well, luckily I'm good and perceptive, so.
Mhm.
Right. That is 8 with the die plus 6 is
A
14.
ton.
Yeah.
The answer is a ton. Okay, so it takes you a little bit of time, but you do eventually manage to find Birdie Hooky. Luckily, not bent at all, not worse for wear for his sinking down into the beads. And you do find like one of the beads on top of him is this really nice shiny red bead. And actually, think of it like this size to you. You're like, oh, shiny. It's not pokey like this. This is a foot massager. Anyway. But it's about that size as you look at it, and it's just very sparkly.
Ooh. Okay, I just put my hand through it, so it's kind of this giant, thick bracelet. That'll be perfect. Okay. Thanks for helping me.
It looks like it weigh a ton. How do you?
Actually, not too bad. I guess whatever it's made of, it's fairly light.
I'm picturing wearing this as a bracelet. Yeah, it wouldn't be too heavy. So as this is going on, you hear just a quiet voice, and you see like from that mouse hole that you came in through, just Flory poking his head out. Are you all okay?
Yeah.
Yep, managed to
Yep,
avert disaster.
Good. Okay. Maybe we should take a break. I wasn't thinking that maybe they would come in here. It's been a long while. Right. Well, they're not in the bedroom anymore, and they shouldn't be in there for a long while. If you want to send things down, maybe we can wait a little bit of time and head in there.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, sounds good.
Cool.
Mm-hmm. So he and Stumble also have like just a pile of random stuff. And he's like going over some fabric scraps and like running his hands through the really beautiful blue fabric that he's now borrowed from the Bigs. And it's like this really nice shimmery like bumpy fabric that's just very, very pretty, and you can kind of see through it a little bit, not like this one, but you can see between the threads, and it's very, very, very nicely made. And so they send those things down. Stumble heads down with it and gathers everything up and sends the elevator back up, and you're all able to bring all of your found items down to your home.
That was fun.
And so heading into the bedroom then?
Yeah.
Okay. So heading into the bedroom a little while later, giving yourselves some time to, make sure that the Bigs aren't coming back anytime soon. You find in this space soft silk coverings, plush cushioning, thick carpet, and the scent of clean laundry and a lingering perfume that is a little bit overpowering to you. The master bedroom is one of the most serene rooms in the house, and it's ignored largely by the biggies for most of the day. As you make your way into the space, as yet unexplored by the Tuffets, at least, you see that one of the biggies has left their fluffy robe hanging off of the bed to touch the floor. If you're careful, you may very well be able to climb it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's go.
They're gonna leave a ladder. We got.
I mean, so I'm not going to make you roll for this because I really want you up on the bed because it's funny. So you, whoever wants to go up, you manage to make your way up this robe to clamber up onto this tall bed, and it isn't firm beneath your feet. You've been on Biggie's beds before, and those were relatively firm, but rather it wobbles as you step foot on it. You know this feeling from when you stepped on a plastic bag a Biggie had left out that had been filled with ice cubes that melted. There's water in there.
I love it.
They sleep on water. How have we not thought of this?
This is so fun.
All right, hang on. Let's all group up and jump together.
Yeah.
All right, lock arms. All right. Want to count us down? 3, 2, 1.
And it ripples underneath you and undulates, and it takes you a little bit that you need to very carefully balance, but you manage to stay firm.
This is amazing.
And the things Biggs come up with.
I need one.
Is Dusty gonna try to figure out how to make a waterbed now?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Hang on, I'm not trying to do sparkling water ASMR.
I think it's probably a good thing that Spinnaker didn't get on the bed, because I think they'd be worried about well. I think it would be a bad thing if their cane accidentally punctured the bed.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Spinnaker, you're looking around and you see that there's this very plush carpet that is spanning the entirety of this room from wall to wall. It's in an interesting pattern of swirls and it's very, very pretty. You've seen something like this on fabrics before, but nothing quite so fancy on a carpet. And then you look around and you see underneath the bed here, there are a couple of loose springs and things. And you look and you see that there is an earring, just a simple post earring that is very, very beautiful, a bright blue color. And it looks very lovely and very light.
I might. I'll grab it.
Mm-hmm.
I think perhaps it might be something that Dusty would like for like a little light decoration or something.
Mm-hmm. Meanwhile, everyone else, you are bouncing on the waterbed.
Yeah.
I told you I would get that waterbed request in.
Thank you.
And
trampoline park.
exactly. And looking around, is there anything in particular that you'd like to borrow from a bedroom? I can look at the options, the goals of things that are found in master bedrooms in the PDF if you'd like. Oh, that's interesting. So, from the perspective of this waterbed, you're able to see the nightstands on either side here. It's one of those where it's like partially in the like in the middle of a wall, so there's two nightstands here that are on a level with it. And on one side of them, you see a just a small wristwatch, and there are a couple of scattered buttons and some of those elasticy things that that biggies sometimes put in their hair, and things like that. You also see on the other side a very large circular, what looks to be like a ring. Um, Again, that you've seen biggies wear before, but very, very large. And you just see just some rings of clearly like coffee cups have been left here, and stains have occurred on the surface, but it's rather empty otherwise. And there's a lamp.
I think Brandy would want to cut some of the fuzzy from either the robe and or the carpet just to add to her nest.
Totally.
Yeah.
Easily doable.
Yeah.
think buttons come in handy. They'd be really great for, like, I don't know, light fixtures or you know, the shell of a backpack or all sorts of things. So Dusty would definitely grab a couple buttons if she can.
Absolutely. They're not matched by any means. There's a really, really tiny green one that has 4 holes, and there's an oversized one that's a little bit heavy for you to pick up, but with Brandy's help, you're able to lift it. That's very clearly made of a really nice wood that has 2 holes. And there's a few other scattered ones beyond that. I'm not going to spend my time describing buttons, but wanted to describe a couple.
Hey, look at this wooden one. If we got this one and find some of those sticks the biggies use in their teeth, put them in the holes, we could build a little, like, side table.
Or we could make it a shield.
I like that idea too.
You could give it to Pen, and Pen could have a shield and a hooky thing, and yeah, then they could protect us from anything.
And I could paint it in a paint to match her hooky thing. Or their hooky
Yes,
thing. Yes.
yes. We could surprise her with it.
Them.
Damn, sorry.
Yeah, we can totally surprise them with it to match. Yes.
I imagine as they're having that conversation, Pen is like leaping on the bed, bounding, and going for hair ties, is thinking, oh, what if I use these stretchy things and I can like launch myself with these? And then I'll have to convince Spinnaker to make me a shoot of some kind.
Oh no. And the mantles, meanwhile, they're kind of doing their own thing. They're not like, it's one of those things of like when you go shopping with your friends, but you're not fully there, you know? And
Yeah.
so they just kind of give you all a wave, and they head on back down to their home. Enjoy the upper floor.
Thank you.
You're the best.
Is there anything else you'd recommend us seeing up here? Or just
It's been a while since I've been up here, so I don't remember everything. Things have moved around a little bit since I was last here. There are a couple of other bedrooms here, or there were. Um, There's another bathroom up here as well. But besides that, not too much. There's some storage too. I don't know the last time they looked in it, but if you go down this way, and he points down the hall, the last door on the left there, that's the storage room.
fantastic. I'll see if everyone has the energy to check it out.
After all of the bouncing.
Yeah.
Well, do you?
Sounds good to me.
Yeah, Pen always has energy.
Mhm. Sometimes a little too much. So easily enough, like dropping off your hull basically between the walls, you're able to follow along the skirting, which actually does have a description in the PDF, so I'm going to use it because why not?
Yeah.
Let's see, where is it? The kitchen, the cellar, no. I need to find it. Doop, doop, doop. Skirting boards. So as you make your way out into the hallway, you see that there are just there's like this little gap between the actual wall and the hallway itself. So like you're able to duck inside the skirting boards here to avoid detection from the biggies. It's a little bit tricky to go through at times, and you can see that very clearly. Creatures of each size have been through here very, very recently. But you managed to duck your way through this cramped space, moving along. You know that Flory had said it's at the far end of the hallway on the left. And you reach the end of this section of skirting, and there's just a nice tiny little gap there, perfectly sized for you. Do you peek out? Looking out, you see. Yes, go ahead. Sorry, I heard you turn on your microphone.
It was basically to say, what do we see? Right, yeah.
So you duck out looking. I'm just picturing like head on head, like peeking out. But looking out, you see that the end of the carpet of the hallway dead ends at this massive towering window at the end of the hall, and over to the left where Flory had directed you, you see this rather small kind of like a cupboard door, you know, the ones that are like they mimic the full size ones, but you don't need to be quite as fancy. And there is a gap between the door and the floor that you're able to squeeze underneath. And so heading on in there, you look up and it is pitch black in this space. Do you all have anything that helps you when things are dark? Have you rigged something up for that? Dusty or Spinnaker, who are crafty sorts?
At the moment, I'm like, what could we get that small? I think it's those
You got bioluminescence from last time.
yeah.
Yeah.
I think that little terrarium jar that I
Mhm.
had put together, I just stuffed it in my backpack to see if I could if it would be of any use. So I
Yeah.
rummage around in there and kind of bring it out. I guess the light doesn't extend too far, but it kind of just
No.
adds this little glow around us.
Yeah. And it adds this just nice little green glow. And so you're able to see a little bit more. And what you see is a space that clearly has had boxes stuffed in it and forgotten about. Like, there's so much dust in this entire area that very clearly these biggies have not even thought about this cupboard in a very, very long time. So perhaps it's something important to maintain that they want, like you know that some biggies like to keep pictures of themselves and you assume people that they know and things like that, but not necessarily want to look at them all the time. Um, and you see that all of these boxes have like something scrawled on them. If any, did anyone learn to read? I'm trying to remember. No, there's just scrawling.
I feel like from like either the first
Yeah,
episode, Penn figured out some of the words because he had
right.
like pulled the poem.
Right, yeah. So Penn at least can read it. You just see living room, kitchen, uh like all different kinds of like the rooms are just scrawled on the sides of the boxes that you're able to see on this bottom level. And you can tell that it's very large space, not that you're able to see anything beyond at the moment.
Well, it looks like the Bigs wrote room things on these boxes. I don't know why, though.
I suppose it would be a relatively easy way of figuring out where to put stuff. I mean, we tend to have to adjust our space to us when we get there, but maybe they had better planning.
So they have extra stuff to put in their rooms when they need it?
I suppose it seemed to have quite an abundance of things out already. But I mean, is there any that look like it might be good to try and have a rummage through, Pen?
Let's see. Is there a box that seems like relatively a little more dusty than maybe some of the others?
So let me get my pixel chat back up. Looking around, connect. You see as you are like you're making use of the glowy light that Spinnaker has, you duck back a little bit further into this bottom layer of boxes and you find one that is truly dusty, that very clearly has not been used for a very long time, has not been disturbed or opened at all.
All right, I think this one back here might be the safest for us to take a peek in and maybe borrow from.
Okay. We'll look to Brandy to see if she can carve out a little bit of a thing.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. Take a little broken half of a scissor or something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I'm not going to make you roll for that because that's silly. It takes a little bit of time, but you manage to carve out a space for you all to like duck into. And you see more like smaller, but more like boxes like stacked on top of each other within this bigger box. And off to one side, you see what looks to be, you don't know, you've seen them in like the moving pictures and on some of the stamps that you have like decorating your walls. It's like this creature with a very long face, but it's not like fully with the four legs and the body. It's like it has a base and it's just this head coming off of it and it's white. And then you look off to another side and you see another one that's just a base and it has a circular bit on it. And they're about half your height, maybe. Like, yay big. The one with the animal head is a little bit taller than the other one. And you see that there's another one that's black that's off to the side as well. Just scattered things.
Sorry, are these doll's house decorations, or I'm like
I'm going to give you what they actually are. They're chess pieces. Yeah.
I totally want to claim a knight.
Oh, we can't hear you.
Oh, my brain went on a whole different journey. It was like boxes. It's like movies, and then
It's
I
a
was
box
like,
of boxes.
the things that like the animal head things that you put on the wall.
Oh,
but,
yeah.
Like, smaller than us. I was like, the dollhouse.
No, you have stumbled across a box filled with old board games.
Oh.
Might have some fun little pieces in there, though. Is Pen stealing a knight?
I mean, I feel like a knight is almost on par in height with us, or just any of those chess pieces.
Yeah.
But it's so tempting because like having a horse head thing sounds amazing. Maybe we can like shave it down. It can turn into like a mounted thing for decoration. Or if we could get 2 over time, they can be like our outdoor like little, you know, those statuettes that you put on either side of the driveway.
Oh my god, I love it so much.
So good.
If we get pawns, we could carve faces into them.
Yeah.
I'm just picturing you all decorating your entire space with these now and horrifying spinnakers.
It's going to be so Alice in Wonderland.
And we have paint, so we can paint them. They don't have to just stay black and white.
Mhm.
This is true. Oh. Yes. In any case, you have managed to find the long unused board games that these biggies play sometimes. Clearly not for a very long time. Oh, can't hear you.
I was just loosely saying they're missing out.
Right? Instead, they have those loud noises on the moving picture box.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I know exactly what I want to look for if it exists in this
Okay.
box. Do they have Monopoly in this box?
Roll perceptive.
Okay. I see that's 5 plus 6, 11.
11. They do indeed. It is not the original. Let's say it's the London themed one.
London themed Monopoly. Okay.
I have that one.
Oh, really? I was just like, there has to be a London themed one, so I'm gonna say that.
Yeah.
Isn't that the original?
I don't know. Like, I feel like there has to be like a London like actual proper.
Yeah. Oh, you mean like
Like the artwork and stuff
New
like
London as opposed to the old London, the Millennium version.
that. I literally was just like, I know that there's a monopoly for everything, so I'm gonna say London.
Well, I got mine in 1987, so that tells you how old it is.
Yeah.
It's when I was in London, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm looking for those little metal pieces. I totally want that dog.
I kind of want the hat.
Oh gosh.
We could totally like if
Oh
the
my
iron like
goodness.
the fabric ironing piece is still in there, we could actually use that
Yeah.
as floorboard.
Heat it up. Yeah. Dang.
Yeah, now I'm just looking at unique Monopoly games. You know what? Oh my god, there's a WrestleMania one. Why?
Love it.
Why? Oh god. Wait. Oh, hang on. I saw a cool one and I want to see what the pieces look like. Amazing.
Looking across at the
I'm
ones that
changing
I have
I'm
here.
changing which version it is.
Okay.
It has a scary skeleton looking face and a stitch up looking red-haired woman on it. It's the Nightmare Before Christmas one. And they don't have a dog, but there is like a duck on wheels.
Yes.
Oh.
I know exactly what it is because I love Nightmare Before Christmas.
Hey. So you managed to find that. Interestingly, there are several pieces missing from this. All different kinds of things missing. There's also like a little a car metal figurine as well, and a kind of horrifying looking bear one. That's a bear, right? No, it's one of the gremlin-y kids.
No, it's the bear puppet.
Oh,
The
okay.
floaty bear puppet.
I have not watched the movie in ages. Anyway. So managed to find all kinds of things. There is also an original Monopoly as well if you wanted to grab something from that. Like if you want the top hat easily enough.
Top hat,
Yeah.
and also, as Pen said, the iron. That's a very useful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
this
need to
is
grab at least
very
one practical
true.
thing.
Right. Yeah, totally. Yes, and it will be like traditional irons where you put it on to heat and then you
Yep.
ironed. Um, yes. So you gather all of these things, bring them down to your home under the floorboards. And I think that that's a very good place for us to take a 10-minute break. Is it 10 minutes? Is it 15 minutes? I don't remember anymore. I'm going to look at my script that I have written for myself. It does not say. What have I been saying? 10 minutes or 15? Do you remember?
Usually been 10, but
Okay, 10-minute break. Yes, we're going to take a short break now. Sorry. Don't forget that we are doing a giveaway of a physical copy of Under the Floorboards today. So be sure to type that exclamation point floorboards into the chat to have a chance of winning a copy of this wonderful game. I don't know if it is caps sensitive or not, so you might need to capitalize the F as well, just so you know. Also, don't forget to hydrate and take your meds. As I always say, hydrate or die straight. And if you haven't yet, be sure to subscribe to the Twitch and YouTube channels to support femme creators. So we'll be back. Hey, there it is. We'll be back in about 10 minutes to see where this picks up. Bye. and we are continuing the last half of our finale of The Secret Life of the Tuffets. Just a reminder to anyone in the chat watching, if you do exclamation point floorboards with an S on the end, you'll be entered in to win a prize of a physical copy of Under the Floorboards, courtesy of Chris from Loot the Room. So definitely make sure that you do that. We left off, the Tuffets were they had gone and finished the elevator with the mantles to get up to the upper story, and they have found a waterbed that they bounced on and were very excited about, and they found lots of fun stuff in the craft room, and also potentially almost got seen by the biggies, but that was not the order that it happened in, but it doesn't matter. In any case, they have brought all of their borrowed goods back down to their home, and it's around this time that the sun begins to peek out from the clouds, and you hear just a little knock at the door.
Hello? Go on over.
Yep. You open the door?
Yes.
Because you all have a very nice, lovely door in your home now. And opening the door, you see your friend Ivy, who has been visiting occasionally now lately for the past few times of sun, days, whatever. We established in the first session that they were suns. So she's peeking her head in and says, "Hey."
Hey, hi, hello. You want to come in?
Sure. I think I managed to convince my mother to leave the house. I think.
That's wonderful.
Yeah. Here, I'll come in. It's fine. Yeah. Hi.
Hi.
How are you?
Good. We had fun. Oh man, you know how we've been telling you about like the elevator Spinnaker's been making with Lori?
Mhm.
We got to ride that today earlier.
Oh, that's
It was
awesome.
so fun. We got to show you. And then we went to the upper floors and I got you something. And then I go and I pick up the red bead and I come back. I know you don't get to ever really come inside, so I thought I'd bring you something because this is from the upper floors and that's a little hard to get to. So
It's really sweet. Thank you. She's like holding the bead and like sticks it on her arm. It's a little bit big for that, but it's very pretty.
I
Thank
know
you.
you're crafty. I think you'll figure out a use for it. Everyone, Ivy's here.
Hey,
Oh,
Ivy.
hi, Ivy.
Hi. So, you know how I was telling you about this fairy garden that my mother knew about? I think I found it, and it needed a little bit of work to clear away because it's not been touched in a really long time, but it's actually really safe away from the biggies. I was surprised with how close it is to the house, but it's very well hidden. So I think that my mother would be willing to uh, leave the tree and visit. It's close to here. It's not quite in this space, but I think she'd be willing.
Yeah,
Sounds
that sounds like
perfect.
fun.
It's really beautiful. You'll love it.
Awesome.
Well,
Can we go now?
um, I think the storm's passing. I think we could be able to do that. Yeah. Just might take a little bit more to tell mother that we're going now. But I can show you the way, and then I'll come back with them, if that sounds all right to you.
Yeah, maybe we should pack up some food because depending on how long it takes, it might be, lunchtime out there.
Yeah, it won't the sun won't be down or anything like that, but yeah, I think that this will work. Okay.
If it helps get your mother out, tell her I'm going to bring some more cheese.
That honestly probably will help quite a bit. I didn't realize how much she missed that. She never told me about it. But yeah, I'll tell her that you're bringing some cheese. And she like looks over to the corner where Eek is sitting and she just says, "Don't eat it. It's not for you." And he just kind of wriggles a little bit.
I'll give you some later, Eek.
He squeaks at you. Right. Well then, she looks down at the big bead and just gives Pen a really big hug. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Right. Well, I will see. Wait, no. We should go together because giving you directions is a bad idea. It's a little bit complicated, but not too complicated. This is why the bigs don't see it.
Okay.
What's best? Should I show it to you now or meet you at the entrance? I can at least tell you how to get to the entrance.
It'd be nice to go together.
Okay. Okay, let's do that then. How long are you gonna take to package things up? I can wait here. It's fine.
Oh yeah, we shouldn't take too long. I looked at
Okay.
everyone else.
Yeah. We're quick.
Okay. Can I do anything to help? Sticks the bead back on her wrist.
We got our packs. Well, you can hold my birdie hooky as I go and try and like get everything together.
You're gonna let me hold your birdie hooky.
Yeah, it's okay. It's okay. I trust you.
Okay.
And Pen very much scampers off and starts like packing up their bag, even though it's already packed. They're just like, I gotta look like I'm packing.
She's just holding up birdie hooky with the like face in her hands, like, you're a very strange thing. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, anything else? Okay. Eek wriggles and is like nestling up to Dusty, like expectantly waiting to go with all of you.
Yes, Eek, you can come. You can come.
Little squeaks. And so you all head off along the pathways, kind of skirting close to like the route that you would take to get to the Pondside's home. They're lovely carved out tree. But rather than going to the left and going in the direction of the pond, you turn right. And on the edges of the garden, there are dense rose bushes that give way to thick vines with thorns and tangling root systems. The bramble here is where children's toys would go to die. When the biggies drop things here, no one goes to get them except for you. That being said, you didn't notice before that as Ivy leads you around, there's a pathway that very clearly is meant for someone of your size. The brambles and thorns have been cut back a little bit at a time that leads through this bramble safely without having to worry about being snagged. And so she leads you along and says, it's just up this way. It's not that far. I understand why I couldn't find it before because it had been a little bit overgrown. It was a bit of a project, but I managed to clear things away. Just Pen, close your eyes.
Okay.
And she grabs one of your hands and leads you along, and you feel the sun on your face first. She says, okay, now open them.
Okay. Open them.
And you just see this miniature, almost like a meadow, but floorboard folk sized. And you see all manner of little bits of delicate furniture made out of like beautifully carved wood and painted, and just lovely moss decorations all throughout. Everything is very nearly perfectly floorboard folk sized here and is far from the prying eyes of the biggies. You see that there are little wildflowers in a riot of colors all clustered around in the space, just on the far edges of the brambles, and you just feel the warmth of the sun up high above. And looking up, you see, yeah, there's no way for the biggies to look here. It's like your own, all of you, your own little space where you can be out and enjoy the sun.
So beautiful. It's like a dream.
So I want to do one thing here, and I would like for each of you to add some element to this fairy garden. And because this was your request, Pen, I would like for you to start.
So, pulling directly from my own little fairy garden outside, I'm imagining one of those kind of arched, are they called like trellises, whatever they are?
Yeah.
And that because of time, just like that moss has crawled over and made like that sort of thicket of archway, the little flowers and stuff, and just the little pokes of metal coming out as like leading into the space.
Mm-hmm. You're muted.
Now
Nope.
your mic muted.
Your mic's also muted.
Too many mute buttons.
I unmuted on I wasn't muted on my mic. I'd muted on that, and then I pressed my mic, and then along those lines. I think one of the reasons why the base can't see it is because it's almost as if like there are some brambles and flowers that have been carefully cultivated to just kind of cross hatch above this kind of little circular meadow in a in like this kind of mesh, so you could still get the sunlight shining down, but unless you're looking directly above it and looking down, you won't be able to see in. But you do get like little spots of color where the sun is shining through like these little flowers that are above in the like canopy above it.
Perfect.
I must say that it wasn't always as forgotten as it is now, and at one point the bigs probably did lay out little fairy garden furniture. So I'm gonna say that there's like one of those little doors that like blocks off like a little private area in behind, and a little bridge in front of that that's now like been overgrown and looks like it was just made to be there.
Absolutely. And Brandy?
Yeah, they had made like a little, they had put in like a little toy pond. that, like with everything else, it's grown over with green stuff. I don't know what that stuff is.
Yeah.
You know,
Like algae and stuff like
yeah.
that.
My thought was mold, and it's like, no, that's not
No.
it. But yeah, and that's underneath that bridge, and
Mm-hmm.
you can almost imagine how pretty it'd be if we
Yeah.
cleaned it up.
And Ivy looks at all of you and says, I've been trying to work on this for a while. I thought it would be a nice place for us to all just kind of relax away from everything and kind of in between our homes. Just a place to meet. I thought it would be good. So I've been cleaning it up, but I definitely need some help.
Well, you've done an amazing job so far.
Yeah.
It's truly lovely. I think Spinnaker is just wandering around and gonna then take a seat at one of the tables.
Yeah, and there's like a little table with a bunch of chairs all around that are just about your size, and you're easily able to just plop down in one of them. And it's wood that's carved to make it look like it's wrought iron, you know?
Mm.
Very decorative, very pretty. There's also a little cushion that has been carefully like hand stitched and placed on all of the chairs because they are not terribly comfortable without them.
Was that Ivy's work or Yvonne's?
It was my mother. It was Yvonda. Yeah, she wanted to help.
Has she been down here already, or?
Not yet. I think that I gave her the dimensions, but she hasn't quite been willing to get out of the house just yet. But with you all here, just
Yeah. No, sorry. I was gonna say. Well, don't forget to tell her about the cheese. Yeah.
I absolutely will. Just give me a little bit of time. She's looking at the sun. It shouldn't be long. I think that I can get both of them to come over.
Nice.
Great. We'll get things set up.
Sounds perfect. I'll see you all in a bit. And she scurries off down that path once more.
Oh, this is gorgeous.
Isn't she great? Look at all this good work.
Yeah.
Lovely. That's great craftsmanship.
Did give you your birdie hook back. Thought I should mention that she didn't just steal him.
Yeah. I'll just
Borrowed.
plant the birdie hook. So now it is once again like a decoration. Okay. I guess we should set up. Yeah, we should set up.
We should.
Ooh.
I wonder, did we pack like a blanket or something? Like if we had any of those scraps or something,
Oh,
we
yeah.
could like put across the table and kind of set one or two of the tables into a nice little kind of on-table picnic as opposed to.
Yeah.
You absolutely can do that. I would say that you managed to scrounge up some really lovely, like a deep red fabric that just feels right. So you set up your meal here. What do you have besides cheese, out of curiosity?
Yellow cake crumbs again. I think those are from favorite.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely some kind of bread crust as well.
Mm-hmm.
Like a nice sourdough.
Oh yeah, you're making me hungry.
Maybe some scraps of like dried or cured meats that we're able to borrow.
Mm-hmm.
like essentially a charcuterie. But it's like full meal size to us.
Yeah. I could see that, like the biggies, maybe they had a party, and so this is all scraps that are left over from that party, and it's like
Exactly.
full meals for you.
One grape, because that would be enough to feed us.
Yeah.
100%. And it takes a little bit of time to set up, but you know that Ivy is hopefully bringing her mother and her father along. And as the sun begins to go just a little bit further, you hear noise coming from along that tunnel. And you just hear, "Don't worry, mother, we'll be fine. This is safe. I promise you, we'll be okay." And coming through the doorway, the archway, is Ivy glancing back, giving you all a little wink as she's leading her mother through into the fairy garden. And you see Yvonne here, just hand to chest, looking around. And Blod not far behind her, just tall and stoic. And you see that she's just got a little tear going down her cheek. "I thought it was lost. I thought, oh, it's beautiful." And she gives Ivy a hug. I totally didn't forget to do the accent there, don't worry.
Dusty would hand her one of her fabric scraps. It's like a little tissue and just pat her on the arm.
She like dabs her cheeks. It's lovely. I did you? And she looks at Ivy. I did a lot, but there's more to be done. We all thought, she looks at all of you, we could have a little picnic, and maybe this could be our meeting place, and if you're not willing to go into the house. And Blod just looks around and says, "It's not a bad idea. It's a nice space. Well done." So, you said there was cheese.
Spinnaker smiles and like this little bit of this little corner of cheesecloth, or like I don't know, beeswax cloth that has been wrapped around it is carefully unfolded, and there's like the little like wedge of cheese sliced off a larger block. It's like,
well done. I'm impressed.
Well, they did have a party and weren't too quick about clearing it up. So
I'm impressed that you were able to do that, actually. Very good. Well, we have seeds and berries and some other here. And he just like plops down this massive sack of like all different kinds of fruits and berries and things that and nuts and seeds that he's been gathering. And he starts like placing things out. "I might have brought too much. That's okay. You can take some into the house. It's fine."
trade. Well, it all looks like a lovely spread.
Perfect.
And so you all are gathered around here, enjoying this wonderful meal in the slightly damp but sunshiny now day, as the sun begins to continue on drifting. Yvonne just kind of shivers a little bit and looks around. "It's been so long, and We're very close to the house. Are you sure that they won't see us here?
Well, it looks like the trellis is quite overgrown, so I don't think that there's any way for them to actually look in unless they were right on top, and it's a bit too out of the way of their usual path.
Okay, yes, good. Thank you all for meeting here. It's just been a very long time since we were in the house, and I don't know if maybe I could do it sometime. It was very scary.
I'm sure, and I certainly wouldn't have wanted to be in your position at the time when it all happened, but we'll find the time when they're not in to let you into the house and kind of take you through it again.
I'd like that, I think.
Lots of small steps equal one big step.
Someday doesn't have to be today.
And Ivy slings an arm around her mother's shoulders. And you know what? You can always take a step in and leave immediately. That's one move. You never know. But if you're already there, then you might as well just go a little bit further. just teasing you, you know. And so you have a wonderful meal with wonderful company. Ivy just kind of gives Pen a little, like, offers a little fist bump to you.
Yeah, definitely. Boop.
Yep. Okay. Well, if you all want to help me with this space a little bit more, I would not say no to that help.
Oh gosh, yeah.
Sure.
Maybe
saw
there's some things in the house.
Yeah, I think I saw some ribbon that would work out here.
Ooh.
That sounds lovely. Okay. Sounds good. Well, we should be getting back, but I'll come by maybe tomorrow.
Yeah,
Okay. Well, see you then.
for sure. Safe travels.
It's not that far, but thank you. I appreciate it. Just gives you a little nod of the head and heads on out with her parents.
Bye. It was lovely to see you.
Bye. See you next time. And they head on out. Is there anything else that you would like to do here in this lovely fairy garden?
I'm gonna start adding some of my very colourful pieces of sweetie wrapper around like the trellises and where it might be nice to put some colour.
Mm-hmm.
Brandy's just sitting back and relaxing.
I think the Spinnaker might, if the bioluminescent mushroom thing has grown at all, might
Mm-hmm.
kind of cut some off and then try and sort of seed it around
Okay.
so that whilst it's bright in the daytime because of the sun,
Mm-hmm.
perhaps it can also be lit at night.
Fun. I like that. Yeah, you're able to get like a little bit of that bioluminescent stuff like gathered around the edges of the water and in a couple like along the path. It'll take a little bit of time to cultivate,
Oh,
but
yeah.
definitely something that you can get a
Nice.
start on.
Yeah.
I think Pen, seeing where he placed Birdie Hooky, it feels that it belongs in this space. So I pat Birdie Hooky on the head, like, you've served me very well, but maybe it's time for you to retire. Keep losing it, buddy. Then I take a thread and tie it around his neck.
No. Right about where the birdie hooky had popped off, right? So it's like
Yep.
just a little ribbon tied around. I like that.
Hey, Dusty, do you have any
Mhm.
green cloth that looks like the grass?
Maybe. And starts rummaging through the big backpack.
Well, we don't need it right this second, but I was thinking, because she's afraid of people seeing her as she's walking in the lawn. What if we made her a green cloak?
You are so clever, Brandy. That is a brilliant idea. We could totally do that.
See, sitting and relaxing, it's healthy for you. Makes your brain bigger.
It does.
New project. Love it.
So I would say we transition over now to the time when Yvonda is willing to come into the house. It's been several suns since this initial like first time in the fairy garden, and she enters in on Ivy's arm, and she's just looking around in the basement here and sees who's there to meet her.
Pen is there.
It can be everyone.
Yeah.
Okay. And Ivy just says, Dad needed to stay back, so it's just the two of us today. But I figured with all of you here, it would be safe, Mom. And Yvonne's just looking around. Interesting. Okay. I can do this. Yes. Okay. And she steps in and takes another step. Right. So, what did you want to show me?
What first?
The lift?
Well,
Okay, go for it, Brandon. Or
Oh, sorry. I didn't.
Yeah.
Spinnaker is very interested in showing everyone their elevator, but the
Yes.
problem is that there's probably a bit too. It might be a bit much.
you could show it to her from the ground, and she
Yeah.
will not go up it. Probably.
Demonstrate. Yeah.
Yeah. Yes. Though myself and have you met the Mantles before? Or?
Yes, they were here when we left, but it's been a long time since we talked to them. Are they still together?
Yes.
Oh,
Yes. So they're not in the Mantle anymore. Yes, but we work together. Florian and I work together to build this elevator. It's very innovative, and it's not something that we've worked out before. But it makes it very quick and easy to get to the upper levels. You know, when it would usually take a day or so to get up there. Well, now it takes us mere minutes.
right. I'm going to not.
That's okay. I just wanted
This
to show
looks-
you the innovation.
It looks very well made.
It's Spinnaker's very chuffed.
What about our old home? You said you came across it.
Yeah, it was along the way to this entrance actually.
Oh,
We can definitely show you there.
right. There's some things that I'd like to get and bring back to us. Maybe.
Of course.
Yeah, for sure. This colored string, this teal string actually leads to that direction. So I put that up.
Interesting use of colors. I like it.
And I shake the thread and you hear just along bit by bit the little jingle of a bell. Just in case there was ever any problems or scares, we can signal each other on the thread.
Huh. That's useful. I like that. And Ivy's just like, they come up with some pretty smart things, Mom. So, shall we? Show me where I was born. I would love to see this space. I've not actually gone in there because I thought it was a good idea to go with you.
Yeah, okay, let's go. And then Pen very pivot points, like tin soldier straight goes.
Ivy's just like tilting her head, like, huh? Spinnaker, do you know what's going on with them?
So, sorry, I thought someone was knocking, so
No, just Ivy said, do you know what's going on with them?
With who?
With Pen.
No. Well, you know what? I couldn't say. They've not been around that often. They're very busy. So.
Okay. Interesting. I'll talk to them.
Yeah, so
Just
it's probably best.
And she leaves her mother to walk with you and goes further up to Pen. So, Pen.
Yes.
What you doing?
Walking.
Yes, I know that. You're behaving a little weirdly.
Am I? Oh dear.
I mean, we're all a little bit weird, but a little bit more than usual, I would say.
Okay. I'll try and fix that. Okay. I'm sorry.
Okay, stop. And she just grabs both of your hands. Breathe. Good. Now. Gives you a kiss on the cheek and runs away.
And it's very much that Ghibli moment of all the hair rising up as full flushed face, like.
And she's just like screwing a little bit up ahead of you now.
Okay, keep pace. Don't let anyone know this. Keep pace.
And you all eventually are like find yourselves like she stops like leading because she realizes she has no idea where she's going, and eventually like drifts back to you, puts a hand through your arm. Right, so where are we going exactly? Because I haven't been here before, and
Yeah, we're following the teal thread.
Right. Yeah. Okay, cool. Teal thread means our old house.
Yes.
Teal
Easy
means
enough.
trail.
Makes sense to me. Okay. And you see, as you all like kind of convene in that space, have you done anything to like clear the rubble or anything like that?
Yeah, I would say we probably had
Oh,
done
yeah.
a little bit of time just to make it like a little bit more welcoming and a lot less scary.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Very fair. And so you've cleared things away, and so you can see the entrance, the original entrance to the home, a little bit broken down from what had happened. But Ivy, kind of lets go of Pen's arm and steps forward to look around, sees the tin beds attached to the wall. Oh, this is lovely. She turns back and looks at her mother. This is where we lived? And Yvonne's looking around. It's much nicer than when we left. Is that you?
All Pen.
Uh, we all wanted to make it a little more comfortable coming in here, and make everything accessible so you can find it what you want easier.
And Yvonne just goes over and gives you a big ol' hug.
Uh,
Thank you.
and you just light hug back.
Mhm. And then she goes around and hugs everyone else. She doesn't want anyone to feel left out.
Big squeezes back.
She even hugs Eek, who has been following you all around. Gives him a little scritch.
Oh.
Oh, this is right. And you can see this moment where she's like thinking, maybe it wouldn't be so bad. I don't want to stay here all the time, but
Just during the winter.
oh, snow is very, very cold.
Hmm.
You're not wrong. Our tree is warm, but it's not a bad idea. If you're willing, Ivy. Ivy just kind of shrugs and says, I don't see why not. And she's like looking straight at Pen when she says that.
Yeah, a nice winter home. Definitely, Spedicur's brilliant. They can enforce everything, make it nice and warm and cozy and safe. And Dusty is really great at decorating, so she can help you redecorate and find all the things you want to make it homey. And yeah, now Pen's like nattering.
There's a craft room and there's
Right, yes. Something to think about. Maybe. Thank you all for doing this. It means a lot.
Oh yeah, we have another present for you.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Dusty mostly did all the work on it, but
Brandy's clever idea though. So this is a cloak of green for cutting through the garden. It makes it you'll blend in. Nobody will spot you now.
Thank you. And you can see like since we made the Studio Ghibli reference, like the Ghibli tears, like just she doesn't even realize that she's crying as she picks it up and throws it around her shoulders.
and then if you see anything that looks scary, you can just lay on the ground and you'll just they'll just think you're part of the grass.
Thank you. And she's like, doesn't know how to process what's happening here. And just immediately goes to give you both a big ol' hug again, because that's all she knows how to say thank you is just like hugs. Well, right then. I'll be back sometime soon. Ivy, you stay here. I'll go on my own. Yes. And she's like, puts the hood up, looks back at all of you, and walks off into the garden on her own. And I will say, let's just do like a little mini montage to end this. So, what loose ends do we have that we want to tie up? I know that we have our friendship with Mousekind nursery and creating an underground greenhouse.
Yeah.
So, what do these scenes look like? Let's start with Dusty.
So I think over time, Dusty would spend more and more time sitting at some of the mouse-sized suspicious holes, especially upstairs,
Mm-hmm.
and would always be armed with some yellow cake crumbs or some cheese or something. Would
Mm-hmm.
slowly start making friends with the mice of the house
Mm-hmm.
and would slowly start showing them to where we stay and making a nice safe space for them. So she probably would have worked with like Spinnaker maybe, if they were willing to make like almost like multi-chamber hides that you would see in hamster cages or whatever, big cozy boxes with like pieces of moss and separate like compartments and things like that inside, so that a whole mouse family could be comfy and cozy in there and all nested and comfy. But out of eye shot too.
Yeah. And you find that Eek has found a friend that I feel the perfect name would be Squeak.
You can squeak.
Yes.
He finds a friend that they're always together because of your finding and gathering of these mice nearby.
Love it.
Who wants to go next? Should we do the greenhouse next for Brandy?
Sure.
Okay.
Yes, since winter's setting in and you don't want to go outside and do a lot, so Brandy
Mhm.
spent a lot of her time underground digging
Mhm.
and hauling the dirt and
Mhm.
maybe building some little walls in the middle of it with uh, bracing it up with
Mhm.
tower blocks.
Okay. I feel like this is something that Ivy probably has helped you with as well, because of course, she knows all of the different kinds of plants and things that are edible, and
Mhm.
like tries to experiment with you what works and what doesn't
Yeah.
underground.
And we found a good place to have the open part with the glass, and we found
Mm-hmm.
just pieces. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Put
Yeah.
over.
Like maybe wiring them together somehow. You could use the iron from the Monopoly game to like melt some of the. You could do kind of like a stained glass kind of thing.
Oh, yeah.
Might be very pretty.
Yeah, definitely need Dusty and Penn's help with that because they're more craftable.
Mhm.
Oh yeah, we're very busy over the winter, I guess.
Definitely. Spinnaker,
I think
how about you?
honestly, Spinnaker's working on all of these projects with everybody,
Yeah.
but it has also taken more time with Florrie just to finish off those refinements that
Mhm.
we'd identified. Those railings are now on, which hopefully makes it more appealing for Randy and Stumble on it.
And
Maybe
Yvonda,
Paper. Yeah.
maybe.
Yes. Maybe you wonder. But I think Spinnaker is just happy jumping from project to project. Very much so.
Mhm.
He's always working on something.
Yep. I love that. And yes, you do manage to finally figure out that pulley system for like to even further improve the elevator. And it's a little bit of a constant project for you and Flory because there's always something that you can improve, whether it's the quality of the materials or how it functions. And there are times when it does break down, fortunately not in the middle of the wall because that would be terrifying. Um, but you have to figure out what's gone wrong and find replacements. And there is a time when the bigs do actually fix that grandfather clock
Oof.
many suns down the line. And you, once again, go through to gunk up the gears and you get that final piece that you need for the elevator to really make it work again. And thank goodness that grandfather clock does not continue to chime. And after that second time, it seems like the bigs have given up on fixing the grandfather clock.
Yeah.
That's a win.
Yep.
Absolutely. Now, Pen.
Yeah. So Pen is for sure helping if anyone asks them to help in their projects. But I think during their scouting and venturing out, they do find a way into the top attic space that the bigs have either they've never noticed it or just completely don't utilize it. But they found their way up there in a little half window. So over time, they begin to spruce it up. They gather little fairy lights of different colors. And as winter comes and more of the holiday stuff, they grab like cocoa powder, like the hot cocoa powder, maybe some cream. And in time, they have this nice space on the windowsill against the frosted happening on the glass in the winter, the little lights going. And maybe at one point ask Dusty to help them make a little blanket to put down. And with Ivy, easy enough to convince her to go on an adventure, brings her up to the windowsill so she can look out and see what her pond side looks like from up here. And we share some cocoa.
Oh,
No. She's all bundled up with the cocoa, looking out. This is beautiful.
Yeah, when I got up here and looked out, I, could see your tree, and I thought you would really like it from this point of view.
It's nice to see it from here. I have never looked at it from up above, I must admit.
I think this is the highest I've ever gone. I keep trying to convince Spinnaker to make me wings, but it hasn't worked.
That try with the vines first. When all of this is over with and it's actually warm again, I can teach you to swing through the trees. It's not quite the same as flying, but we don't have wings. And I feel like having wings made for you might be a little bit dangerous.
Yeah,
And
it
that's
could be
coming from me.
enabling.
That's coming from me that I think it's a little bit dangerous. But I'd like you to stay you.
Okay.
Well, And I think I'm going to move in here full time, by the way.
Really?
My parents are doing just fine. They might be coming in here to their old home too, but I think I want to leave it just for them if you're okay with that.
Yeah, for sure. We can make you a space. You can join my space. Yeah.
Sorry. I'd like that. If you're okay with it, if everyone's okay with it.
Well, I would definitely like that.
Okay. Good. Wow. Thank you for showing me this.
Yeah. Happy winter.
And she clinks to the glass with you and looks out. And I think that is a good ending point of everything that we have created here. Just a nice little moment.
Hallmark movie.
Hallmark
right at the end.
movie moment.
Pull back from the window and see the steam coming from their cups and steaming over the window.
Okay.
Beautiful.
It's just like the teeniest little bits of steam along the window. It's like little, it looks like a raindrop rivulet situation, just little bits of steam. Yeah, and we pull away once more from this beautiful old cottage home that the Tuffets have now really established themselves in and found new friends and new adventures and yeah, made the space their own. And that's where we're going to end our story of the secret life of the Tuffets.
That was a good story.
I had so much fun putting this for you guys. So
It was lovely. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
sorry, I was mad. So, okay. I'm okay.
Got this.
Yeah.
Definitely was a good
Lovely
story.
Hey, lovely viewers. We have a giveaway of the physical copy of the book. If you haven't done that yet, exclamation point floorboards in the chat to try to enter to win. Yes, I'm going to talk about things before we do the drawing so that more people can enter. So let's see. We're doing the outros. So let's start where we began with Natalie.
Yeah. Hi, everyone. I'm Natalie. I was playing Pen. Find me in most places on the internet with Ghost Candle or Ghostly Candle on Twitch and YouTube. I do a variety of things, but a lot of tabletop this month. So later I'll be on Nerds with Dice playing our finale as well of Nights. Tomorrow I'll be playing Tales of the Birdstones as part of my solo tabletops for the month. Wednesday may also be, we had to keep rescheduling it, but hopefully we'll get to play our finale of Kids on Brooms. So a lot of finales this week. And then be on the lookout for things I'm doing with Exquisite Corpse Presents.
Hey. With me.
Yeah.
But we'll get to that. Okay, so doing the same order. So Tina.
Hi folks, I'm Tina and it has been my absolute pleasure to play Dusty in this wonderful, wonderful story. You can find me on most platforms under Tina Beans or Purple Tina Beans on ones where I couldn't get that name. And if you want to see more adorable tiny scapes, you can check out my hamster care content too. And that's under Tina's Tinies.
Very cool. And then Lola.
Hey, yeah, I've been Spinnaker, and it's been very fun to play my little inventor builder type, like tiny folk. You can find me at Third Vault Yarns, where I do mostly, well, I say mostly yarn stuff. I do a lot of yarn stuff. um, Dye yarn inspired by science fiction and fantasy themes, and design knitting patterns in TTRPG. I'm not playing anything until the EU happy hour for like over on Horde of Tales. So that will be later in the month and the beginning of next month. And yeah, that's mostly me. But also I do write TTRPG stuff. Um, Another like small plug for my the game that I released like closer to the beginning of this like little story that we started, which was Universe at Your Door, The Traveler, where it's a little solo journaling game where you play the Traveler and explore extra solar planets. It's inspired by Becky Chambers' To Be Taught If Fortunate, and you can find it on my itch.io under Johnson Ofair.
Very nice. And then we have Caden.
Yeah, I'm Caden. I was playing the very strange Brandy. I don't know.
She was lovely.
Yeah, some of the things she came up with, I don't know. And those who haven't played TTRPGs, yeah, they talk to you. You don't think of the things they're doing. It's weird. Yeah, a little behind the scenes, I guess. I can be found on Twitter at Magdalene Bloom. Not very many other places because I'm still getting used to what is this internet? No. Don't have a lot coming up, so if you want to follow me on Twitter, that's where I'll post things.
Very cool. And then me. Hi, I'm Anya. I've been the GM of this wonderful game. I am everywhere at Lalian Cosplay, literally everywhere. And let's see, things coming up for me. We're going to be casting soon for my new game, which is the Serenity RPG, and it's an Oops All Jews game. So if you are a femme Jew who is free on Fridays before sundown in the U.S., so before Shabbos, then you can still try to apply for the game, and yeah, we'll be casting soon. I'm excited. And then I had another thing. I actually had written what I was going to say for that one, but oh well. Also, on Exquisite Corpse Presents, I'm going to be running a Monster of the Week game that Natalie is in, and I'm super stoked. And I'm also going to be in a game on Saturday on Neon. I'm forgetting the name right now, but in any case, it's going to be fun. I'll post about it on socials. So I think that it's time to do our giveaway drawing. And actually, I was just informed that we do have a digital PDF that we got an extra digital PDF that we're going to be doing as part of the giveaway as well. So we have digital and physical copies. So I would say that we should probably start with the digital copy. So who is our PDF winner? If one of the lovely people in charge can do that drawing. I do not have that power. Yay. So I don't know how to say usernames. Kajada?
That's my husband, Kajada.
Hey!
Yeah.
Yay! So you have won the PDF copy of the game. And then let's do the physical copy. Who's going to win the physical copy of the game? Crafty Kaiju. Hey, that's one of my players. So yay, you've won the physical copy of Under the Floorboards. So you'll people will be in contact with you about that. I have nothing to do with that part. Anyway, congratulations to the winners. Yay! So we are almost done with our outro-y stuff. There's only a little bit left. So before we head off to our raid, at 7 p.m. Eastern is the Bluebeard's Bride Recurring Nightmares finale. Another finale going on. So it is a limited series featuring unique settings from glamorous Hollywood to terrifying asylum, and it is viewer discretion advised because it is Bluebeard's Bride. Also, Girls Run These Worlds has the creator app open for the holiday one-shots. The mornings are darker, the air is getting chilly, so it must be time for the holiday one-shots creator app to open. Come tell a story about winter, darkness, love, light, and the end of the year. From cozy to terrifying, pitch us your holiday one-shot show idea. So that app is open. You should definitely apply. I need to think about what I want to apply for. So plotting. In any case, that is the end. And I know who we are rating. We are going to be rating RP Geeks. They're playing Good Society in Space again. I caught a little bit of it before, and it was really, really cool. So you should definitely stick around for the raid. Say hi from Girls Run These Worlds. And you're awesome. I love all of you. And I hope that you stay wonderful and awesome. Yay! We're waiting for the raid. We'll see. Oh, I knocked over something. Great way to end this. Hello.
We're right back.
Yeah, someone's got to clip that if it's on there.
Bye.
Bye.
Life.